So a very good afternoon. हमने कल सोशियोलॉजी स्टार्ट किया था और हम पहला जो टॉपिक है सोशियोलॉजी में डेवलपमेंट ऑफ सोशियोलॉजिकल थॉट इन इंडिया, उसका हमने प्रिलिमिनरी एक ओवरव्यू देखा था कि हाउ सोशियोलॉजी एज अ डिसिप्लिन हैज स्टार्टेड अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड, then how it has started as a discipline in India, and what are the we read about the few important sociologists of India, for example the G.S. Ghure, Majumdar, the D.P. Mukherjee, etc. So today we'll start the first topic of your sociology, that is the caste system in India. See, what is caste system? And you have two topics, that is caste system and the class system. So we'll do the caste system today. Caste is something which is very obvious, and it is something which is very natural, and we all are familiar with the caste system. So caste system में एक जो आपने aspect देखा होगा, this is the hierarchical pattern. These are the four categories or the hierarchy in the society, where the Brahmins are kept at the highest level, then we have the Kshatriyas, then we have the Shudras and the Vaishyas. So अगर हम origin देखें caste system का, so how this caste system has been originated, there was a Varna system earlier in India or in the Indian mythology. This was Varna system. So this Varna system, not based on birth, again I'm repeating, not based on birth, this Varna system classified the society on the basis of occupation, that what occupation you are carrying, and on the basis of this speciality you have in that occupation, the Varna system originated. And that when this Varna system during the course of time crystallized, it gave itself a new form, a new shape, which we know as a caste system. So caste system नहीं था पहले हमारी Indian Hinduist society में, it was a Varna system. But during the course of the time, this Varna system get evolved or crystallized into the form, a new form, which is known as caste system. So what is caste? Caste system is based on birth. We all know that when we are born in whatever the family we are born, we are ascribed. So caste is a ascribed status, means you are not gaining it, और अपनी मेहनत से या ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ टाइम अपने काम से आप इसको अचीव नहीं कर रहे हो. दिस इज समथिंग विच यू हैव सिंस यू आर born. So you are born with your caste system. It is a closed system. Why it is a closed system? Because the members of one community cannot interact with the members of other community via marriage or via the course of intercourse, means you have to keep a social distancing with the people of other caste. So it is a closed system. Second important, that mobility into the caste system, that is from one caste system you cannot move to the other system. So if I'm born as a Brahmin or if I'm born as a Kshatriya, I can't move to other caste system, that I cannot move to the Vaishya system. Fine. So it is a closed system. During the ancient times, the caste system has affected Indian society the most because it is an integral part of the Indian society. Caste is derived from the word jan. It is a Sanskrit word which means to generate. It is sophisticated form of Varna system. Means caste is being derived from the word jan. Sanskrit का एक word है jan. Jan means something which is generating or something which is forming. So caste is not present in the Indian society till ages. It has been formed or it has been evolved from the Varna system. So we had a Varna system in our society, and that Varna system was based on occupation. It was not based on birth. But during the course of time, this Varna system actually formed itself into a new system which we today see as a caste system. So Varna was there, it changed itself into the caste, and then caste में भी हमारी सब कास्ट होती है जिन्हें हम गोत्र बोलते हैं. ड्यूरिंग अगर आप मैरिज होती है तो वी से दैट कि गोत्रा एंडोगैमी भी होती है कि वी कैन नॉट मैरी विद इन द सेम गोत्र. शादी के टाइम पे हम गोत्र में मैच करवाते हैं. सो विद इन द सेम गोत्र ऑल्सो वी डोंट मैरी. सो दैट वर्ना सिस्टम फॉर्म्ड इनटू द कास्ट सिस्टम, एंड विद इन दैट कास्ट सिस्टम वी हैव डिफरेंट सब कास्ट विच वी कैन कॉल एज गोत्र. द कास्ट वर्ड वाज फर्स्ट यूज्ड बाय Grass de horta, which has been taken from the word casta. So casta is a Portuguese word which means a race, a breed, or a lineage. So breed, lineage, or these are the words. Like the caste has been derived from a word which is a casta. Casta is a Portuguese word which describes it is a breed or a lineage. What is a lineage? That from one ancestor, when the progressing is done or the lineage is forming from a one common ancestor. So we all, if you are born as a Brahmin, it means that all the Brahmins of this community, all the Brahmins of this particular country or from race belongs to a one particular ancestor. So this is a lineage. Fine. So this is caste system. Then we have the different definitions. So अगर कास्ट का देखो, अगेन आई टेल यू, जब भी आप लिखते हो क्वेश्चन आता है कि व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय कास्ट सिस्टम. सो कास्ट इज समथिंग विच इज वेरी ऑब्वियस, यू आर फैमिलियर, आप अपने लैंग्वेज में भी कास्ट सिस्टम लिखोगे. बट इफ यू विल राइट something which is authentic or something which some author has said, so आपके मार्क्स गेन करने की प्रोबेबिलिटी ज्यादा होती है. तो जनरली अगर आप देखोगे, हम कई बार बच्चे कंप्लेन करते हैं कि हमने सारे आंसर्स लिखे हैं फिर भी हमें मार्क्स नहीं मिलते. सो द रीजन इज दैट, see, in a subjective paper you know everything and you don't know everything. The same situation is there. So if you know something also, you can frame your answer, but you need to be very precise and you need to be very authentic while writing your answer. So अगर क्वेश्चन आता है कास्ट, डिफाइन कास्ट इन 2 words में, so I would like to say that you should write the exact definitions of the author rather than just writing the answers in your own words. So Ketkar, he defined caste as a social group which has 2 main characteristics. First, that it is membership is being derived from your birth, means your status is ascribed. It means you are not achieving your status. It is something which is given to you by your birth only. Second is marrying in one's own caste, that is endogamy. It means you cannot marry outside your caste. If you are a Brahmin, you have to marry a Brahmin only. You cannot marry somebody else or somebody else caste. Then as per Majumdar and Madan, caste is a closed system. Why is it is a closed system? Again, it is not fluid. When we will read the class system, we will see that class system is more fluid and more mobile, because it is based on economy, whereas your caste system is based on social and customs and tradition. So that is why your caste system is more crystallized. Second, your caste system is more it is more rigid. It cannot the acceptance of mobility cannot be accepted in a caste system. As per Iravati Karve, it is a broad kinship group. Kinship means when you have the common ancestor. It could be a male, or it could be an animate object, or it could be a non-living object also. So anything which is representing the lineage of that particular the lineage, it is known as kinship group. So caste is a large or a stronger kinship group. Then as per Max Weber, caste is a status group. Because कल जब हमने पढ़ाया था, I told कि Max Weber ने economy को अपना एक important criteria माना, that economy helps during the course of the when industrial revolution happened, economy became a major criteria. और economy ने 2 parts में लोगों को divide किया between the haves and the have-nots. So haves were the bourgeoisie class which were holding the means of production, and the have-nots were the proletariat class. They were helping in the means of production, but ultimately the centralization of power was there with the bourgeoisie class. So he said कि caste is a status group. तो यहाँ पे इन्होंने caste को एक economic criteria माना, which is not right actually. Caste is not an economic concept, but it is more a traditional and a social concept. As per Charles School, when a class is connected strictly hereditary, we may call it a caste. It means, see, इन्होंने कास्ट को और क्लास के बीच में एक इंटरकनेक्शन माना, दैट अगर कोई क्लास है बेस्ड वेदर इट इज अ पॉलिटिकल और अ इकोनॉमिक और अ सोशल क्लास, अगर वो क्लास बहुत ही रिजिड है, अगर उस क्लास में फ्लूइडिटी नहीं है, इट मींस वो क्लास मोबिलिटी अलाउ नहीं कर रहा है, इट मींस इट इज अ कास्ट. So there he basically linked, or there is an interconnection between a caste and a class according on the basis of Charles. Then if a question again a caste question comes, so caste is based on a higher and a lower based on birth, hereditary of its members and restrictions, occupations, food and marriage. So this is the definition of the caste system. There are few characteristics of the caste system which were given by Ghure. So the question will come that as per the GS Ghure, what are the 6 characteristics of the caste system which you have to mention? First, segmental division of the society. What do you mean by the segmental division of the society? That it is an hierarchical pattern. This is your hierarchy where Brahmins are kept at a topmost position. Then you have the Kshatriyas, you have the Vaishyas and the Shudras. Fine. So this hierarchical pattern has led to this division in the society. Within the Brahmins also there are subgroups or the subcaste presence. So similarly, within the Kshatriyas also there are subgroups and the subcaste. So this lead to the division of the society. It means you have the hierarchy with where the top levels or the top priority is given to the Brahmins. Then you have the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and the Shudras. Now within the Brahmins also you have different groups. You have the different subcaste. So this ultimately, this whole caste system is basically what it is doing. It is dividing the society. It is doing the segmental division of the society. So first characteristic is the segmental division of the society. Second, it is an endogamous group. ये question 2 number में आया भी था कि explain how caste is an endogamous group. What is endogamous group? Means you have to marry the person from your own caste. Like you cannot marry a person, or you have to keep a social distancing from the other group of the people. So endogamy means you have to marry within the same caste and within the same gotra or different gotra. Okay, so this is an endogamous group. Punishment on the violation. Now what does it mean? That you have strict rules of your caste. So if you will violate those rules, for example, if you marry outside or some kind of, so you have to face the ostracism from the society. Means if you will not follow the rules of the caste system or rules of your society, then you have to face the violations from your society. Then it is an hierarchical division. I told that this was your hierarchy division. This is your Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and the Shudras, and there were the untouchables also. Now these untouchables do not form the part of the caste, or do not form the part of the Varna system or the caste system. So this is the hierarchical pattern. Then you have the fixed occupation. Now I told you earlier that Varna system, caste is being crystallized into the Varna system, from the Varna system. So earlier Varna system was not based on birth, it was rather based on occupation. That if you are giving education, if you are reading Granth, the Vedas, you are more supposed to be belong to a Brahmin family. The Kshatriyas are more oriented towards defense, the wars, okay, and the Vaishyas are more towards the traders or the merchants, and the Shudras, they were more involved themselves in the cleaning activities and etc. So earlier the Varna system was not based on birth, rather it was based on the occupation which you are pursuing. So it had a fixed occupation, but during the course of time, when that particular occupation was attached to that particular caste, so that means now you have the fixed. If you belong to a Brahmin family, it means you have to do these things only. If you belong to Kshatriya family, you have to do these things, or you can occupy these kind of occupations only. Fine. So then the characteristics of the caste system. This question can directly come as your 5 markers also, and or 2 markers में भी आता है कि GS Ghure. Now पहला book का जरूर नाम याद रखना. The book is the caste and the class, caste, class and the occupation. So in this GS Ghure has told the 6 characteristic features of the caste system. First is the segmental division of the society. मैंने आपको बताया था that society, there is a hierarchical pattern in the society, and within the Brahmins you have the different subcastes, the subgroups. Within the Kshatriya you have the subcastes and the subgroups, and this led to the bonding between the intergroups, but it led to the diversions. It led to the bonding within the intra groups, but it led to the diversions into different groups. So caste system divides the society into different segments and parts and subparts by which people's affection, love and sympathy are more to their own caste and less towards the others. Second is the hierarchy. Third is the occupation. Occupation is fixed. Then fourth is civil and religious disabilities and the restrictions. So yes, if you know that there are some kind of privileges, so some kind of privileges are given to the upper caste people, fine, and some kind of restrictions are to the lower caste people. Fine, so this is your privileges. So undue benefits and the privileges are given to the upper caste people and some kind of restrictions are being done to the lower caste people. Then you have the restrictions on food, intercourse, social distancing. I said that you cannot marry anybody, you have to marry within the same group, and you have to restrict, matlab you cannot take the food, like the Brahmins do not take the food or the cooked food from the Shudras. Earlier it used to be a practice. So you have a restriction of food practices, your drinking practices from the others. Then restrictions regarding marriage, that is your endogamy. So why caste is an endogamous group? Because in the caste, marrying outside from the other, marrying yourself from in other group is restricted and prohibited. Now the feature of the caste system by the Louis Dumont. So you please keep it in your इनका classification भी याद रखना. Although the more important is of GS Ghure, but you should keep regard of this group also. So features of the caste by Louis Dumont. First, there is a separation of labor. Yes, occupation is diversified, but it is fixed within the same caste. Second, intra-caste marriage means you have to marry within the same group. Hierarchy, there is a hierarchical pattern, and the purity and the impurity belief. So this is the concept of purity, that the upper caste people are the Dvij born. Dvij means Dvij or a twice born. So the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas, they are considered as the Dvij born or the twice born people. But this the lower caste people are considered as, do not considered as Dvij. Dvij is like, it is said that when you are born, you are taking the birth, and एक आपकी संस्कार 16 संस्कार होते हैं, तब एक प्रैक्टिस संस्कार किया जाता है. तो ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय और वैश्यास में वो संस्कार किया जाता है. उस संस्कार में माना जाता है कि एक इंसान का दूसरा जन्म हुआ है. सो इट मीन्स वैश्यास, द ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय, वैश्यास आर कंसिडर्ड एज द द्विज born people, but the Shudras are not considered as the द्विज born people. Fine. So this is the concept of purity and impurity. Now there is, अगर आप अभी तक हमने पढ़ा नेचर ऑफ कास्ट सिस्टम. कल जब हमने पढ़ा था, सिलेबस देखा था, तो हमने कास्ट एंड क्लास में देखा था. तो फर्स्ट हमने नेचर पढ़ा था. सो व्हाट इज द नेचर ऑफ कास्ट सिस्टम अगर क्वेश्चन आए, देयर इज अ सेगमेंटल डिवीजन ऑफ सोसाइटी. इट इज अ हायरार्किकल. यू हैव द फिक्स्ड ऑक्यूपेशन, रेस्ट्रिक्शंस ऑन फूड, मैरिजेस. देन यू हैव द एंडोगैमी. You have to face the social ostracism if you do not follow the rules of the caste system. So this is the nature of the caste in Indian society. Now the origin of caste system. So various theories have been given that how particularly the caste system has been originated in India. तो एक है traditional theory. Now what does this traditional theory says that ऋग वेद है एक. You know that we have 4 Vedas. So there is a ऋग वेद. इस ऋग वेद में बहुत सारे मंडल्स हैं. उसमें एक 10th मंडल है. This 10th मंडल talks about पुरुष सूक्ता. पुरुष सूक्ता. So according to this, that there is a one person, और उनके ही different body parts से जो 4 कास्ट बनी है. सो पुरुष, देर इज अ ऋग्वेदा. ऋग्वेदा में एक 10th मंडल है जिसको हम पुरुष सूक्ता बोलते हैं. उस पुरुष सूक्ता में कास्ट सिस्टम के बारे में बताया गया है. सो दिस इज, जस्ट अ मिनट, यस. सो दिस इज दिस पुरुष सूक्ता. सो इट इज गिवन इन द ऋग्वेदा. ऋग्वेद में कहा, आपके 10वें मंडल में. This 10th mandal talks about the Purush Sukta. Now, this person has, इनके head से जो develop हुआ है, जो इनके सर से डेवलप हुए हैं वो ब्राह्मण्स हैं। ब्राह्मण्स आर मोर ओरिएंटेड टूवर्ड द प्रीस्ट, द अकेडमिक्स। इनके आर्म्स से क्षत्रिय डेवलप हुए हैं। द क्षत्रियास वर द रूलर्स, द एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स, दे वर द वॉरियर्स। इनके थाइस से डेवलप हुए हैं द वैश्यास। सो वैश्यास आर द ट्रेडर्स, द फार्मर्स, द आर्टिसंस, द मर्चेंट्स। और इनके जो फीट से डेवलप हुए हैं शूद्रा। सो शूद्रास आर, they have to work as a manual laborers. And there is one class which is known as Dalit. These are the untouchables, so they do not form the part of the core of the Varna system. So पार्ट कौन कौन से वर्णा सिस्टम में? चार ही पार्ट हैं, दैट इज द ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय, वैश्य, शूद्रास. दीज दलित और द अनटचेबल पीपल डू नॉट फॉर्म द पार्ट ऑफ दिस वर्णा सिस्टम. So this is your traditional theory. So we did the traditional theory. So what does traditional theory says? That as per in a ऋग वेद, वहां पे एक 10th मंडल है which talks about the पुरुष सूक्ता. इस पुरुष सूक्ता के different body parts से different caste system originate हुए हैं. So from the head the Brahmins have originated, from the arms from the shoulders the Kshatriyas have originated, from the thighs the Vaishyas, and from the feet the Shudras have originated, and the Dalit and the untouchable, which we to whom we called as untouchable, do not form the part of the Varna system. Now there is a racial theory. Now as per this racial theory, what does racial theory says? That Indo-Aryans, Indo-Aryans थे. Now these Indo-Aryans people, they have some kind of racial features. We will see that हमारे इंडिया में बहुत different races रहती है. For example, we have the Proto-Australoids, we have the Negritos, the Indo-Aryans, the Mongoloids. So Indo-Aryans they were the racial group people. इन racial group में कुछ common इनके physical features थे. Now what were the physical features? For example, they have a heighted, इनकी height बड़ी, मतलब they were a heighted people. इनका build जो था, it was strong. They have black hair. इनका जो color था, it was more they were white people, not white, but they were more attractive. So they were built were strong. They were more heighted compared to the indigenous people which were living in the India. So during the time when Indo-Aryans came to India, there were other people who also living in India whom we called as indigenous people. So these indigenous people, they have a short stature, their physical or the build was strong, their color or the complexion was dark. But the Indo-Aryans were more, they were heighted, they have a strong build, they were fair people, they were the white people. And these Indo-Aryans people, they defeated the indigenous people. Now, and they also established the marital relations with these people. So Indo जो Aryans थे, they were more superior. So this is the racial theory. That means the Indo-Aryans people came to India, they settled into India, they defeated the indigenous people, and indigenous people, they have the features that they were short statured, उनका physical strong इतना built नहीं था, they were darker people. So Indo-Aryans, they defeated, and then they developed some kind of marital relations with these people. So this is your racial theory. Now what does racial theory says? That 1 minute. Yes. Now पहला exponents. Exponents means who has supported the racial theory. The Herbert Risley has supported मतलब Herbert Risley has given this theory, but it has been supported by GS घूरे and मजुमदार. तो देखो, अगर हो सकता है कब ये क्वेश्चन आप, ये जो टॉपिक है आपके ओरिजिन ऑफ कास्ट सिस्टम, ये एज इट इज आपके सिलेबस में है, तो या तो वो किसी पर्टिकुलर थ्योरी को 2 नंबर में पूछ सकता है, या फिर वो थ्योरी को 5 नंबर में पूछेगा कि एक्सप्लेन द different kind of theories related to the origin of the caste system. तो वहां पे आपको ये जरूर बताना है कि वो थ्योरी दी किसने है और उसको इंडिया में किस सोशियोलॉजिस्ट ने उन्हें एक्सेप्ट किया है. So exponents were Herbert Risley, and it is supported by GS घूरे and the Majumdar. As per this theory, the Aryans came from Central Asia. They defeated the non-Aryans and established the marital relations with them. So the Indo-Aryans people, ठीक है, and so there were 2 races. The Indo-Aryans, they came from the Central Asia. They defeated the indigenous people whom we called as the non-Aryans. With this, a new caste system came into existence, Kshatriya. That means if a Kshatriya, a male, is marrying a Brahmin female, we call it them a Sut or a the higher caste. It means it is considered as a higher caste marriage if a Kshatriya male is marrying a Brahmin female, and if a Shudra male is marrying a Brahmin female, it is called as Chandal. So what kind of marriage was accepted? That the higher caste, that is a Kshatriya male, can marry a Brahmin female, but a Shudra male cannot marry a Brahmin female. Fine. Conclusion is that the caste system took its birth after the arrival of Aryans in India, who made Dravids as their slaves. So Dravidian is also a race, Indo-Aryans is also a race. So Indo-Aryan people came from Central Asia and the Dravidians were the non-Aryans. It means they are the indigenous people of the Indian society. Then you have another theory, which is the religious theory. Now, religious theory says that based on the different rites, the different functions performed by the different people, they grouped as the Brahmins. So, this is religious terms. The caste system originated due to the religious factors, performance of various rites and yoga. Yagya, it will be yagya. Fine. So yagya and recitation of mantras done by the Brahmins, defense was done by the Kshatriyas, trading by the Vaishyas, and the exponents are the Hokat and the Senat. So these are the people who have supported or who have given this theory that based on that religion, that based on the work which is given in your religious scriptures, if you are performing yagya, if you are reciting rituals, if you are doing rituals, recitations, it means you belong to a Brahmin community. If you are involved with the defense, you are belong to a Kshatriya, and if you belong to the trading and the merchant, it means you belong to a Vaishya system. Then you have a political theory. Now this, what does this political theory say? That the caste system is the brainchild of the Brahmins. Now why it is a brainchild of the Brahmins or the upper caste people? Because these were the people, they wanted to control the economy, and whoever has the economy will definitely emphasize the polity of that political structure of that yes, it will emphasize the political structure also of that area. So basically, political theory says that it is a brainchild of the Brahmins because they want to centralize the powers, and if anybody who will centralize the powers will hold the economy, and if you have the economy, you will hold the political power also. So because Brahmins wanted to have the centralization of the political powers with them, that is why they considered themselves as superior. They made themselves as superior. So what is this political theory? Originated by the Brahmins to maintain their superiority among and overall. That's why they converted intentionally the Varna system into the caste system. So Varna system was there. Varna system was based on birth. So intentionally Brahmins converted this Varna system into the caste system so that their superiority can be maintained. It is given by the Abbe Dubois, and G.S. Ghure has supported it, and even the Majumdar has supported the political theory. Then we have the occupational theory. Occupational theory has been given by the Nesfield. Now occupational theory का क्या है कि as per the occupation, whatever the occupation you are choosing, for example the Brahmins, their ancestors have recited, they have done the rituals, they were educating the people, they were reading the granthas. So during the course of time, their youngsters or their presiding generations also occupied that particular occupation. Similarly, we see the businessman community. So if a father is a businessman, his son will be a businessman, then his grandson will also will always be a business. अभी आप देखते हो डॉक्टर्स को, अगर एक फादर डॉक्टर है तो मोस्टली उसके बच्चा भी एक डॉक्टर बनता है, then again the generation becomes and they become a doctor family becomes. So occupation theory says that people occupy certain kind of occupation, they form certain kind of guilds, and then with the course their ancestors have done that work and their generation will also do that work, and then they deviated themselves from the into different subcaste. So occupation theory says that occupational performance led to the origin of the caste system in India. The professions which were considered better and respectable made the person superior to those doing dirty professions. So obviously if you're teaching somebody, so that is considered as more important. So the Brahmins consider themselves as superior. If you're protecting the society from the others, so that is also a very important work. So Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, if you're involving into the trading business, this is also important. So the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas and the trading or the Vaishyas, their work is considered as more important and it is given more superiority. That is why they are considered themselves as important and into the upper ladder of the society. Then you have the primitive and mana theory. Now mana is a kind of soul. You can consider it is a subconscious thought process or a soul, that every person or every community has some kind of soul, and every community is worshipping that soul, and they are restricting themselves to that particular mana. So they are following the ideas, they are following that mana. So whoever is following a particular mana will become the part of that community. So this is your primitive and mana theory. According to the primitive belief, mana is a supernatural power which is found in the roots of everything. Groups who believe in different mana separates themselves on the basis of the fear. मतलब अगर मैं किसी को पूज रही हूँ या मैं किसी को अपना आइडियल मान रही हूँ और अगर मैं उनकी बात ना मान के किसी और के आइडियल्स को फॉलो करूँ तो शायद वो सुपरनैचुरल पावर मुझसे नाराज हो जाएगा. So out of that fear they started following the one supernatural power and then they started diversifying themselves. So with time, restrictions on occupation and marriages lead to the origin of the caste. So if you are following some kind of supernatural power, so you are restricting yourself with the ideas, the beliefs or the traditions of that particular supernatural power only. And with the course of time, whatever the ideas or whatever the guidance is being given by to you from that supernatural power, you will follow it. So your occupation diversification is happening. You are not allowing to marry from other people also. So during this way the caste system has been originated in India. It has been it has been given by the Hutton. Fine, the cultural indication theory. So it is like a occupational belief. Exponent is Denzel Abiston. He believes that caste did not originate from Varna but from the economic guild. So it is also like an occupational theory. Occupation में क्या है? Then you started following, you have started doing some kind of work. You form the guilds with people, and your generation and further generations will continue doing that work. And again, it means that you started diversifying from the other people. नाउ द इवोल्यूशन थ्योरी. देखो इवोल्यूशन थ्योरी मैंने कल भी आपको एक बात बताई थी, जैसे सोसाइटी को भी ना एक ऑर्गेनिज्म कंसिडर किया है. सोसाइटी हैज अ डायनेमिज्म इन इटसेल्फ. इट मींस ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ टाइम सोसाइटी इज इवॉल्विंग. जैसे एक ह्यूमन बीइंग है, एक आज हम एक होमो सेपियंस बने हैं, तो वी हैव ओरिजिनेटेड फ्रॉम अ सिंगल सेल. ठीक है, एक सेल बना एंड सेल बना, फिर टिश्यूज बने, फिर ऑर्गन्स बने, फिर ऑर्गन सिस्टम बने, एंड देन अल्टीमेटली ह्यूमन बॉडी इज फॉर्म्ड. So similarly, evolution, our society is evolving with the course of time. तो आज जो society है वो पहले नहीं थी, पर जो पहले society है वो उससे भी पहले नहीं थी. So society is developing. Similarly, evolution theory that caste system is also developing. So पहले जो society थी, it was a primitive society, but with your आपका different आपके aspects हुए, society it is also a dynamic system. So from that traditional society, when you came towards the modern system, different occupations came, different kinds of ideologies came, traditions came, culture came, and then there is a diversification in the society, and this diversification or the evolution of the society has led to the formation of the caste system. So the caste system is the result of a long process of social evolution, and it does not come into the existence of all of a sudden. So caste is a you can say that caste system ये नहीं है कि वर्णा system एक ही दिन में crystallize हो गया और एक ही दिन में caste system बन गया. It is the result of the long term evolution process. A number of factors played their part in the development of the present caste system. It is given by the Hatton and it is supported by the Yogendra Singh, which is a very famous anthropologist of India. Then a new system. ये अभी तक हमने origin पढ़ लिया. तो हमने different origins पढ़े. क्या क्या theory पढ़ी? We read the traditional theory, we did the racial theory, occupational theory, then the evolution theory. We have read the mana or the supernatural power theory. So different theories are related with the caste system. Fine. Now this is a जजमानी system और a व्यवस्था. देखो जजमानी system क्या होता था कि it is a system और it is a concept which was present in or prevalent in the Indian society. तो इसमें क्या होता था कि दो तरह के लोग हैं. तो एक तो सर्विस गिवर्स हैं और द सर्विस गिवर्स मीन द सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स हैं और एक जिनको सर्विस मिल रही है. तो जिनको सर्विस मिल रही है या जो सर्विस ले रहे हैं उन्हें हम जजमान बोलते थे. The person who is receiving the services, they are known as jajman, and the person who is giving the services, they are known as kamins. ठीक है? It means तो this was a system और it was a traditional एक हमारी इंडियन सोसाइटी का रूरल, स्पेशली इंडिया में भी रूरल सोसाइटी का एक पार्ट था which is known as जजमानी सिस्टम. इस पे 2 नंबर में आप एक क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं व्हाट इज अ जजमानी सिस्टम. सो इट इज अ वेरी बेसिक और इंटीग्रल पार्ट ऑफ द इंडियन सोसाइटी अर्लियर. यहाँ पे 2 लोग थे. मतलब इट सेज दैट again it says that there is no strict diversification within the Indian society. The upper group of the people who has the economy, who has the political power, they were usually the service givers, and the lower caste the service takers, and the lower caste people who don't hold the means of production, who don't hold the political power, who don't hold the economic power, they were usually the service providers. So it जजमानी सिस्टम का एक नेगेटिव भी है कि इट वाज एन एक्सप्लॉयटेटिव कॉन्सेप्ट. एक्सप्लॉयटेटिव क्यों था? क्योंकि जो अपर कास्ट के पीपल थे दे वर ओनली टेकिंग द सर्विसेज, दे वर ओनली रिसीविंग द सर्विसेज. इन रिटर्न दे वर नॉट प्रोवाइडिंग एनी काइंड ऑफ बेनिफिट्स, एनी काइंड ऑफ प्रिविलेजेस टू द लोअर कास्ट पीपल. Although the lower caste people were mostly providing the services only, so their benefit was not happening. It means that again the upper caste people were having the undue benefits and the undue privileges which was present. So it is a concept which is given by the William Weiser in the book The Hindu Jajmani System. In this system, one caste fulfills the needs of another, like in rural India. It is based on social division of labor. So mutual relation होता था between the jajman and between the kamins. तो jajman were the people who were receiving the services and the kamins were the people who were giving the services. लुई ड्यूमोंट ने इसको एक स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन सिस्टम कहा. Why he called it as a stratification system? देखो, this is a society which is stratified. So obviously, who will take the services? Who has the economy, who has the power and who has the privileges. अगर सब लोग एक ही लैडर में होंगे, मतलब अगर सोसाइटी इस तरह की है और सोसाइटी में हर कोई अगर इक्वल लैडर में है, तो why you will take the orders from others? If you are at a same ladder or if you have the same equal position as respect to your counterpart, why you will allow other to take your privileges, right? So obviously, when you will give the services or when you will provide the services, when the society is patterned on a hierarchical basis. So this is a hierarchy. So the topmost people, they have the economy, fine, they have the political power. So they were receiving the services. So they are known as Jajmani system. Fine. And these were the people who do not have the political power, who do not have the economy. They were only providing the services. So that is Louis Dumont ने इसे stratification system का, because it is a society which is laddered. Fine. So इसी की वजह से जजमानी सिस्टम एक तरह का स्ट्रैटिफाइड फीचर था इंडियन सोसाइटी का. सेकंड, ब्रीडलमैन हैज कॉल्ड इट एन एक्सप्लॉयटेटिव सिस्टम. मैंने आपको बोला कि क्यों एक्सप्लॉयटेटिव सिस्टम है, क्योंकि एक जो क्लास है वो तो सिर्फ सर्विसेज दे रही है और एक क्लास सिर्फ सर्विसेज ले रही है. सो द अपर कास्ट पीपल वर ओनली टेकिंग द सर्विसेज बिकॉज दे ऑलरेडी हैव द अनड्यू एडवांटेजेस, बट द जो लोअर कास्ट पीपल थे वो सिर्फ सर्विस दे रहे थे, जिनकी वजह से उनका कोई सोशल अपलिफ्टमेंट नहीं था. तो अगर जजमानी सिस्टम आता है तो आप पहले जजमानी सिस्टम को डिफाइन करोगे, उसके बाद आप इसका क्रिटिसिज्म भी लिखोगे. Then there is one concept which is race. Although race आपके नहीं है टॉपिक में, but definition आप से पूछी जा सकती है, तो आप definition देख लेना. It is a biological concept. देखो दो चीजें होती है, एक तो race है, एक caste है. Caste is not race. रेस इज नॉट कास्ट, बोथ आर डिफरेंट बट दे आर इंटर रिलेटेड। क्योंकि जब हमने कास्ट सिस्टम पढ़ा था तो हमने एक रेशियल थ्योरी पढ़ी थी। रेशियल थ्योरी क्या थी कि इंडो आर्यंस वर द पीपल, दे केम टू इंडिया and they defeated the indigenous people which we called them as non-Aryans. So they were the people who were defeated, right? So racial superiority थी, मतलब Indo-Aryans were racially superior from the Dravidians. But the caste system is a इट इज अ सोशल कॉन्सेप्ट, तो रेस इज अ बायोलॉजिकल कॉन्सेप्ट। देखो अगर आपने थोड़ा देखा होगा तो मोंगोलॉइड्स देखे होते हैं, अगर आपने नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न पीपल देखे हैं, यू हैव सीन डिफरेंट डिफरेंट पीपल, नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न पीपल होते हैं, देन यू हैव द नेग्रिटोज हम जिनको बोलते हैं। कुछ फीचर्स होते हैं ना जो आप जिन्हें देख के आप थोड़ा डिफरेंशिएट करते हैं कि नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न पीपल थोड़े उनका फिजिकल फीचर अलग होता है, नेग्रिटोज हैव द डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ फीचर। अगर आप सेंट्रल इंडिया में देखोगे सो देयर आर द फीचर्स और द बिल्ड ऑफ द स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ दोस पीपल दे आर डिफरेंट। सिमिलरली आप नॉर्थ इंडिया में देखोगे तो उनका जो फिजिकल फीचर है, स्ट्रेंथ है, उनका जो कलर कॉम्प्लेक्शन है, इट इज डिफरेंट। सो दिस इज रेस। सो रेस इज अ बायोलॉजिकल कॉन्सेप्ट, इट इज नॉट ए social concept where your caste is a social concept. So it is a biological trait and a concept where a caste system is a social concept. Race is a person's physical characteristic, means it is a biological concept and based on the arrangement of your genes or on the biology, your physical appearance is being decided. So there are the different races are present. Indo-Aryans North India में present है, your हिमाचल प्रदेश, हरियाणा, your पंजाब, कश्मीर etc. It is an Indo-Aryan. Dravidians ज्यादा सदर्न इंडिया में जो भी हैं आपके, दे आर कॉल्ड एज Dravidians. द मोंगोलॉइड्स जो नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न इंडिया है हमारा, उसमें जो रेस है दैट इज द मोंगोलॉइड्स. नेग्रिटोस हमारे केरला, अंडमान निकोबार आइलैंड जो हैं, आइलैंडर्स हैं, उनको हम वहां पे नेग्रिटोस रेस मिलती है. एंड प्रोटो ऑस्ट्रेलॉइड्स जो हमारा सेंट्रल इंडिया है, जो आपके संथाल्स, भील्स, गॉन्स जो रेसेस हैं, दे आर द प्रोटो ऑस्ट्रेलॉइड्स पीपल. अगेन आई एम रिपीटिंग. सो अगर आप इंडिया का, if you'll see, just a minute, if you'll see, this is your India. Wait a bit. Fine. So here it is the northeastern India. यहाँ पे you have the Mongoloids. मैं आपको नए पेज में दिखा देती हूँ. Here northeastern states में you have the Mongoloids. Fine. Here this part you have the Indo-Aryans. Fine. Your central India contains the Proto-Australoids. This southern India is your Dravidians. Your Kerala portion, this Kerala portions and your Andaman and Nicobar Island, this portion, sorry, this is, yes, this is your Kerala, Andaman Nicobar Island, this is your Negrito. Fine. So there are different kinds of races. So if a question comes, race में definition आती है, तो you have to write that race is a biological concept and it is based on your physical characteristics. There are the following races which are present in India, so you have to name them. Now tribe is also there. अगर definition आए तो ध्यान रखना थोड़ा. According to Majumdar, tribe is that social group which resides at a specific geographical location. They are endogamous group, no specific function or occupation, one language, dialect and which are ruled by the tribal officers. Every tribe, they have its own beliefs, traditions and the customs. So different tribe means they are the people, they have the same lineages, they follow the same customs and the traditions. A certain kind of geographical location is fixed for them. So these are the tribal people. Now, the merits of the caste system. So, India में what is the caste system and what are the merits of the caste system? पहला, it lead to the expertise in occupation. If you are following a certain occupation since the ages, obviously you will have the expertise in that particular occupation. Then it determines the person's social status because it is an hierarchical pattern. So, if you belong to a Brahmin community, you have a upper privileges or some kind of privileges, or the social status of yours is more as compared to the Shudras. It ensures a job security. If you belong to, like if you belong to a trading business, if your father is a businessman, you have that business, you are running that business. So a kind of social security or a job security has there. It helpful in the selection of a life partner because it is endogamous group, means you have to marry within the same community. So there is the security of yours that you will get a life partner. Unity among the members of the same caste. It leads to socialization of the individual, security of religious belief and the culture. But what are the demerits of the caste system? Obstruction in the mobility. It means if you belong to a Brahmin community, you cannot move to a Vaishya community. If you belong to a Kshatriya community, you cannot move to some other community. It is an obstacle in the national unity because now Indians see caste system is it plays a very important role, and if you see that the different kind of conflicts occurs, conflicts of ideologies or something, some kind of rights happen in the name of the caste system. So ultimately it results into the disintegration of the Indian system, or it leads to disintegration of the social fabric of Indian system. It results into a fatalistic approach. एक होता है कि हम I belong to that community, मेरे पास privileges नहीं है. It means I have to I have living in this I have taken a birth in this particular एक tendency होती है ना that I have taken a birth in this kind of scenario. It means I will die only. I cannot do it because I don't have the privileges. I do not belong to a particular caste or something. So it develops a fatalistic approach. Limited area of marriage. Undemocratic system. See, a democracy is what? A government of democratic system which is more rational system, where the resources are equally distributed, where there is no hierarchical pattern because every individual is equal. So we know that Article 14, equality before law and equal protection of law. So it is undemocratic. That caste rigidity is basically an undemocratic system. Some kind of special rights and privileges are given to the upper caste. The religious conversions, because when you do not have faith in your own religion, then you try to move towards some other religion. Untouchability is a major concern. Now these are the questions which are related to the caste system. First, try to write these questions. First is write down the characteristics of the caste system which is given by Ghure. तो हमने इनकी बुक पढ़ी थी. इस बुक में कास्ट क्लास एंड ऑक्यूपेशन, जिसमें इन्होंने 6 कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स दिए थे. व्हाट वर द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स? यू हैव द सेगमेंटल डिवीजन ऑफ द सोसाइटी, देयर इज एन हायरार्किकल पैटर्न, देन यू हैव द एंडोगैमी, देन यू हैव द रेस्ट्रिक्शंस ऑन फूड, देन you have the restrictions on marriages, then special privileges are given, or the violation, if you will punishment is there on the violation. So this is your first question. Second is write down the basis for the origin of the Varna system. So earlier the Varna system was not based on birth, it was based on the occupation. So what kind of occupation you are pursuing, so that on that base the Varna system has been originated. Explain the reasons which brings about the changes in the caste system. So इसमें जो क्वेश्चन है आपका, एक्सप्लेन द रीजंस व्हिच ब्रिंग्स अबाउट द चेंजेस. सो व्हाट आर द रीजंस कि कास्ट सिस्टम अब थोड़ा डाइल्यूट होने लगा है. सो व्हाट आर द रीजंस? द कम्युनिकेशन बैरियर इज रिमूविंग, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, देयर आर द सोशल प्रेशर्स और द एक्टिव प्रेशर्स arising in the society, the system is becoming more democratic. Fine, so these are the reasons through which the caste system is diluting. Try to write these answers. If I would try, I will help it, I will make you write, I'll give you the ideal answers of these questions also, but first of all I'm just giving you the hint, I'm just discussing with you. Try you, but on your path you just try to write your answers. I'm just giving you the hints only. What are the social values? Now what is the future of the caste system in your view? So here you have to write both, that caste system is diluting. Yes, it is diluting. There are different kind of changes which we can see. There are structural changes, the functional changes and the traditional or the attitudinal changes. देखो structural change क्या होता है कि नाउ एक जो स्ट्रिक्ट हायरार्किकल पैटर्न हमें दिखता है वो नहीं है. जो ब्राह्मणिकल सुपीरियोरिटी पहले होती थी, नाउ इट इज नॉट दैट मच प्रेजेंट. द सिस्टम इज बिकमिंग मोर डेमोक्रेटिक, अनटचेबल्स की लाइफ अच्छी हो रही है. दिस इज योर स्ट्रक्चरल चेंजेस. नाउ द फंक्शनल चेंजेस, द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ प्योरिटी और पॉल्यूशन है, नाउ इट डज नॉट होल्ड एनीवेयर, इट इज डिमिनिशिंग. इट्स लाइक कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ प्योरिटी और पॉल्यूशन है वो अब प्रेजेंट नहीं है. नाउ देयर इज पीपल आर मैरिंग आउटसाइड द कम्युनिटी ऑल्सो. सो चेंजिंग इन द मैरिज system, plus changing in the intercaste relations also, because now people are becoming more fluid with their caste system. So this is your functional changes happening in the caste system. Then you have the attitudinal changes. Now attitudinal changes, the people are becoming more liberal, the people are becoming more democratic, they are more rational. So now the situation, the situation, or we can say the concept of this strict hierarchy is being diluting. So here you have to write that if in future we will say caste system is not that much rigid, or it is not that much close which it used to be earlier, it is uh, dignifying its presence, so it is diluting itself, but still there is the presence of caste system, because we can see the politicization of the caste in politics. So caste still plays an important role in Indian society, but yes, the structural and functional changes are happening in the Indian society. So here you have to write both, because we can see that caste system is changing, because it's structurally also, functionally also, and the attitudinal changes are also coming, but still the whole of the caste system has not been eradicated from the Indian society. It still has the present. So what is the future of the caste system? Yes, the changes are happening, but has it been eradicated? No, it still becomes a core of the Indian society. So please try, attempt these questions and write the answers. And I hope you like the class, and whatever the issues or whatever the problems you have, I have been sorted from this kind of your video. Thank you so much.